Aloha and welcome back to Juana's Divine Readings. I am Juana, the Hawaiian Gypsy, and really excited to be here tonight. This is going to be the reading for the full moon lunar, the buck full moon uh, lunar eclipse in Capricorn. Wow. So Capricorn energy can actually bring us a lot of exciting energies. As well as positive, hopeful, because Capricorn, that sign, that kind of like mountain goat kind of energy, really pushes forward to go after what he or she wants. And you got that clear goal in mind and going after that. And actually, some of the energy is coming through about going after what you want, being clear. But there's a bit of always this pull because of such new beginning, because of things are awakening and uh, revealing themselves, and all these unforeseen dreams all of a sudden coming up out of the ashes, a lot of creativity. So we're having a bit of that Seven of Cups energy come through where we have, wow, like we're starting to see all these options, and of course it's all feeling good because there's a lot of, new energies being born out of our renewal healing. And so there is that aspect of just be careful what you wish for. Really know what you're getting into moving forward, really know what things are before making absolute long-term commitments, because the energies that we have already built, even though it seemed like everything kind of fell down, whole world kind of fell apart, and now we're stepping into something brand new. There's a lot of that transformational energies, a lot of transformations within ourselves moving forward, coming into that new, and having that, our whole world turn upside down, where the North Pole feels like the South Pole and the South Pole is like the North Pole. A lot of this whole like upside down energies and hangman, where am I going? And so really exciting energies moving forward, because now it's like, as we're stepping into this whole new beginning, everything is starting to again, coming into that familiarity, starting that centering, having that focal point, that center point, where like we know where our North Star is, if we're a compass, finding our new way, coming into this new beginning. So very exciting. And then with that, there's like all these things coming at us. So there is a bit of that energy. Watch what you wish for. Definitely go for what you wish for, go for what you want, but just make sure it is exactly what it presents itself to be. And also, there's also, Capricorn, the sense of responsibility. Right now we have a few planets in Capricorn, at least like 3 planets in Capricorn. We have Juno, Pluto, and Saturn. Saturn, its own planet, is in Capricorn, and actually all these 3 planets happen to be in retrograde, so at the moment. So again, right there, especially Saturn being retrograde in Capricorn, right there is kind of having us look at, taking a real look at what it is we're being committed to moving forward. And and it is exciting when we have all this new stuff coming up. But because it's like a honeymoon phase, right? It's a honeymoon phase for our whole new life. And in that phase, everything's exciting. Do what you want of me, baby. Everything's exciting. But after a while, we realize, oh geez, that's actually not really for me. So kind of, and because we're looking at long term, again, a lot of Capricorn energy. The monthly energy I pulled for the month is which is the dog. Again, there's that loyalty, that commitment, and when we have you know, that beautiful pet, that dog loyalty. I mean, he's loyal to you for life. He's set for you for life. So commitment, and this is commitment on all aspects of your life, whether it be career or love. Then we, you know, the energies we're stepping into now are going to be long term. So really exciting. Now I love to read the Lenormand cards on a full moon because they really, I find reading the Lenormand cards really pull out the energy of the moon and a lot of excitement. And I did mention about, you know, honeymoon phase, which this is not a love reading at all. Well, I mean, there's definitely aspects of love that can come through, but this reading actually does pull up a lot of sexual energies, a lot of passionate energies, and so for some of you, some people may be steady in their career. So for some people, you know, new love is coming through. Now, I'm not just talking regular love. Let's go on a date. Let's do that speed dating, dial a line dating, whatever it's out there, online dating. Dial, pick a number. Anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking again this level of commitment. You know, that loyalty. Okay, so the energies. This is the. This comes from the Mayan Oracle, and this is one of the star glyphs from the Mayans, and this is Ak the dog. And he's such a powerful energy, and I love it. And now, what Ak really refers to, whenever I read the energies from the Mayans, it's always really referring to yourself, because we have to start with ourselves first. We are the seed, and he is really, really talking about loyalty. Where does your loyalty lie? And I kind of talked a bit about this last month, and basically we have to see our loyalty lies within ourselves. It has to start there. Basically knowing what your virtues are. More importantly, I just got these cards. I'm really excited. These are the Teal Swan. Some of you might know her. She's very, very popular, especially on YouTube. And these are her sigil cards, known as the blind spot. So it's kind of like pulling out what energy are we not seeing that is continually needing attention for healing. And we have 34. This sigil talks about my paraphrasing of the title is basically running, denial of the emotions. Or, you know, it basically is running away from the emotions. Okay, so where are your loyalties? Where are your boundaries? And that's one of the things that comes up with that sigil card, is that, you know, setting your own boundaries. It does talk about, you know, healthy boundaries for yourself, of course. You know, our boundaries all around, all aspects in our life. Where are our boundaries in work? Where are our boundaries in friendship? Where are our boundaries in family? Where are our boundaries in commitments, romance? Where are these boundaries? Where are our boundaries for ourselves? You know, and that talks about that, because this is an emotional card, and very, very interesting, coming out in this new moon in Capricorn, which is the opposite of Cancer. So even though Capricorn is about, the new moon in Capricorn is about that need to be, again, loyalties, wanting to feel needed, wanting to have this need to give my loyalty to something, but you want to make sure that that loyalty is something that resonates with you. Is it in balance with yourself? So really, really important. This is the healing that is continuing, that is needed to be continued on, moving forward into the month of July, and also into August and into September. So these energies are lasting a few months. We are still, even though we're already stepping in a new beginning, some of us are really starting to feel revived and renewed, and we have a lot of really good cards coming out. We're going to go over those in a second. So very, very exciting, very, very exciting energy. But we must continue to make sure we don't deny what we need from ourselves. So that has to come first, and it's so important right now, because you are your own foundation, which will, be the balancing factor. Your strong foundation is going to be the balancing factor when you're balancing the energies, with the surrounding environment. That's basically the three cells: man versus man versus environment, and then man versus himself. So man versus himself must come first. So again, the knowing your solid foundation, which is basically, knowing your self-empowerment, stepping into your self-empowerment, and just being strong with that. Now you have to be strong with that just in standing in your empowerment, not necessarily going around and, knocking down walls and taking what you want. Of course, I'm exaggerating. Nobody would do that, but, well, some people do, but I would not think anybody watching my videos would do that. Now, I do want to say, I'm going to make a bit of a disclaimer on here. I may rate this as an 18 plus. However, there's going to be no, like, Decameron cards or sexual magic cards coming out. However, because of the passionate and a lot of the sexual energy coming out, I'm going to be referring to those. But I don't know. Lately, almost everything is, making me, kind of hot and heavy here. It's like, I don't know if that's just a lot of the creative energy coming through. And there is a lot. There is a lot, folks. So yes, for some of you, if you don't want a child or a second child or a third child or fourth child, make sure... again, be careful what you wish for. So you want that passionate love, if you don't want, the third party and the child in this case, as a result of that passionate love, then just make sure you take your precautions, which, for the majority and most of us, taking precautions anyways, but in that aspect, wishing for that twin flame, let's say, or that soulmate, really wanting a twin. Well, when you get that partner, watch out. You might need to slow the reins a little bit on that chariot, because Venus right now is in Gemini. It's soon to be moving into Cancer. So a lot of, a lot of that really wanting to give and romance and nurturing energy, and so on top of all this other passion energy coming out, and I'm not sure exactly which planets are contributing to this, other than there's Venus, and I do believe Pluto a little bit contributes to this, and even Neptune, because those are like a lot of the water energies, and because Pluto is ruled by Scorpio, and then Neptune is ruled by Pisces, and so you got a lot of water signs really having strong impacts on the other signs, other planets, and so anyways, without further ado, don't need to carry on with that. I'm sure a lot of you already know a lot of what you're feeling there, but yes, so again, a lot of passion coming out. So just take your precautions if you're not ready for anybody to get pregnant or anything like that. So I don't know why I'm carrying on with that message, but it could be a message for some of you, a lot of you, I don't know. So without further ado, we're going to get into the reading. Yes, so I do a lot of the Hawaiian readings. Mostly my readings are based on Ho'oponopono. Well, I always come from the aspect of Ho'oponopono, which is to make things right, balance out what needs to be healing, and so I talk about that. So normally my readings are based on 3 cards, which is the middle self, which is you, lower self, and then higher self, which is subconscious, and then higher conscious, and then my monthly reads are based off of the Mayan oracle cards as a general read. So we have also too with loyalty here, which is very interesting, because Ak, he also represents to the Mayans the foot, right? Dogs have many foots, they leave a lot of foot, and they kind of, they're the best trackers, right? So footing. But one of the main symbology behind foot is ancestral. So again, really important. One of the things that are going to help us to really ground ourselves, and that's kind of one of the things that are being called to action this month, is to really ground ourselves, is to connect with our ancestral line. Knowing where and who you came from is going to, you know, help some of you or a lot of you. We have seven, and we have 3, 4 over there, which is very powerful. 7 is the number of, it is a number of, like, in a way, totality in a self. So that's basically having all that is needed to make form. So it's all the ingredients. Basically, I explained all the ingredients you need to, like, let's say, bake a cake, or let's say all the pieces you need to, you know, build something, and all the tools, you know, in your tool belt that you need to get the job done. That kind of thing. So 7 has that energy of totality. And then the next, and this is interesting, this is the lens oracle. It also resonates as the number 8. It looks like the number 8, and it also resonates with the number 8. And 8 is after 7, and that is basically after we take all our tools and all the supplies we need, and we build the foundation. So 8 is the manifested foundation. 4 is the number of foundation, and 8 is like a 4-4, and so that's like your manifested foundation, and which represents the home. But also too, in the Mind Oracle, this is also the message on this card is new myth. Okay, so new myth is about because it's newly formed. Right? So it's like you took your basic foundation, which is like, again, talking about ancestral line, talking about all the lessons you learned up until now. And so that's the foundation. So taking everything you learned, but now you had to clean the slate, you know, take the tower down, but that foundation was still solid. And some of the cards that comes out like that, the foundation's solid, but the structure wasn't that solid, because it was meant for you to build so you can learn, but then take it down and then build. Now you're going to build, as we talked about the long-term energies coming in, long-term. Now we're building that actual structure on the solid foundation, because you are solid now, and stepping into that power, going through the dark night of the soul, you know, learning those universal lessons, coming out of it, not backing down, and being brave, and so with all that, you really solidified yourself, and that's the 7. And now you're building this new foundation, and that's the 8. So that new structure. And then in the Lenormand card, one of the ones that came out is the home, which is a 4. So I won't talk much about that card, because again, it talks about just everything I just talked about. And I promise you, I just kind of try to save time, because I talk a lot. I try to save time shuffling ahead of time, because I really do meditate and then shuffle them, but I will shuffle clarifying from the deck. Sorry for the, there we go, coming in and out. All right, so still staying with the Hawaiian energies that I do my readings based off of is, so when I do the Lenormand, I like to pull 9, even though 3 more came out, and then an extra one with the fellow up there, which we'll talk about. And he has to do with all that energy when we also have the woman came out. So this is really interesting. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But I'll just do the spread real quick. So basic energies. Now nothing is solid. Things are fluid, and they can also be timeless. So even though I'm doing it for this full moon, sometimes things come up and people need to hear the message a year from now. So, but we can take it for the energies for now, and then just go with that. So what we have is with the 9 cards. Now I'm not a traditional person that goes with the traditional settings for cards. I go with the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono healing intent. So we have now, and this does kind of follow Lenormand a little bit, because Lenormand goes, by the column or by the row. And for me, the row represents still like middle energies, manifested energies, underlying energies that are unseen but are still having an impact on the physical world, and then higher energies that are still having impact on the middle world, on the earthly plane, but however coming from higher spiritual beings like your higher self, spirit, God, angels, guides, however you see the higher energies. So there's always higher energies that come together and have creation that manifests on earth. Okay, and then I pulled some clarifying cards from the Witch's Tarot. So kind of interesting messages coming through. Some from the Witch's Tarot there. And so we'll go over that after we do the Lenormand reading. All right, so I think I talked a lot about, that is pretty much the overall general energy of the reading. So getting into the card, I always start with the middle. Now, from left to right, it kind of goes past, present, future energies. Okay, now that doesn't mean that these energies, are not having impact in the present, but it's just all of what the message is. So speaking of which, though, this is really interesting. So we have the clouds, and then we have this really hot woman. Now, and then we have the magnifying glass. This hot woman, to me, is representing you, the viewer, okay? Now, if you're a male viewing this, that's okay. She more represents that feminine aspect. If you are a man, she's going to represent that feminine sexual aspect of yourself. And we all have that. Men and women both have a healthy amount of both male and female energies. I'm trying to decide which word sounds better. Masculine and feminine. There it is. So yeah, we both have a healthy balance of both masculine and feminine energies within us. Okay, it makes a combination. And what's really interesting is, so this represents you, the watcher, and basically the male over there, he's representing your person or another person. Now, this could be a partner. This partner could be somebody you're with, or somebody you are, like for new people, I'm getting this is somebody you know already. Now, it could be a friend. Now, it could be a love in a way of, it could also be a family member or just a friend or somebody that means a lot to you in the workplace, like a mentor or something. Now, creative energy, sexual energy is not always meaning romance and sex, let's say, right? It's not always about always having sex, because all our creativity, all creative energy comes from the same energy. It comes from that same energy. It comes from the same source, right? So that Kundalini is all creative energy. And it's just when we transmute that into physical action or physical creation, manifestation, that's when that physical energy gets formed or dispersed into its different actions. But at the very base, like our sacral chakra, it's just creative energy. And then that's kind of like where we draw a lot of our passion from. So now for those of you who are, and there's a lot of this happening, there is a lot of this happening. I hear some readers talk about a lot of twin flames people coming together, or soulmates coming together. A lot of this is happening now. What would that mean is that very specific unions are coming together. Now, that could also be in friendship or in businesses. Now, what I'm also seeing is business is very important as well, because we are not seeing business like we did just, a few months ago. Now we're seeing, wait a minute, I can actually create, like, let's say if you are an entrepreneur or you want to be a business owner, you're actually starting to see, like, well, wait a minute, I can actually create a business that, hey, it's not just about money, it's actually about me, like from my own creation, from who I am, my interests, my hobbies. And now we're creating something that, is like a business slash healing. Like, even if it's like making jewelry, for example, making jewelry with, healing stones. This is just an example. And so you're creating, jewelry, and you're making the jewelry, and it's coming out of a passion. That's still that Kundalini energy, that creative energy, and it's coming out. And you have, so you're the creator, and then you have this business partner over there, and he or she can still be male or female, but it's just a masculine energy. He or she will have like the mind, the brainiac basically of, business partner, like how to run the business aspect, all that technicality. You can tell that I'm not good with that technicality. I'm really sweating over here, but I'm learning. Anyway, so, but for those now, and a lot of other things I'm seeing is, partners coming together and this kind of romance and business partnership happening. A lot of those things are coming together, which is actually a beautiful, beautiful thing. And what a best way to be than, to be, I know some of you may not think so, but it is actually when you're in harmony, and you're going to be in harmony because of all this healing, all this self-learning you've been doing, all this growing, stepping into who you really are. You can't go wrong because you're following your heart. So when you're 100% you, true divine you, you're going to attract that divine other counterpart. And these unions, I mean, that's not to say, there's not going to be disagreements and that, that little stuff. I'm just saying there's not going to be anything major that is really going to, get in the way of anything, of you moving forward. Because this natural alignment is happening, so we're naturally attracting, our tribe people now. We are starting to see that the people that we are starting to surround ourselves with, be friends and that kind of stuff, romance, career, we're starting to see that actually it's coming to us because our energy is pure now, so it's naturally drawing that. And so, but one thing I do want to mention is you see her, in this particular deck, this is the Reverie Lenormand deck. There's two ladies and two males. Now, there's like, so the more conservative male and female, and then there's a more sexy male and female. Now, what's interesting is that the sexy female came out, and the more conservative male came out. I'll just go get him. Now, the sexy male, he's kind of like her. He has his shirt off and everything. So, and if you see, he's holding a rose. So what I'm getting here, so let's say, for example, so you can see that rose, he's kind of holding the rose there. It's a white rose. So what I'm getting here is that the female, the one, okay, so let's just say male and female for a moment, okay? It could be same sex, however, but even in same sex, there's going to be more feminine, one more masculine. But what's coming through here is whoever has the more feminine energy. So let's say, for example, it is, if you're the female watching this, it's you. You're the one that's going to be more passionately erotic energy coming through. So your creative is going to be really more upfront. Your creativity, your sexual expression. Now, we don't have to undress like her, but it's, the card's supposed to be that meaning, to represent the meaning. But your sexual expression is going to be more predominant than, let's say, like more of the, when a male goes to court a female, like, it's more courting and all that. It's almost like you're the one that's going to be, if this is like a romantic endeavor here, you're going to be the one that says, well, hey, let's have sex tonight. Basically, okay, that's just the energy. I'm not saying that's what you're going to say, but that's just more the feeling that's coming through, the energy that's coming through. And the male, the one who's more has the more male energy, male dominant, he's the one that's going to be the more subdued one, the more courting one. He's going to be like more in touch with his feelings. He's going to be more like he wants to hand you the rose. He wants to do romantic things, take you out on a nice dinner, beautiful horse ride, stuff like that. But he's the one that's going to be a little more subtle, and you're the one that's going to be a little more aggressive. Feeling, okay, not necessarily acting upon that, but feeling. And the reason why I bring that up is because it's important to know that even if the one that's more male energy, even if he is being a little more subtle and a little more like calm, know that he feels equally the same as you do. Now, if you notice, and she's looking out the window, she's actually waiting for him to hand her rose. Now, she's not ready. She knows she's a wise woman. She's very classy. And you can see her hand on her chest, and she has Venus there. And we mentioned Venus is in Gemini right now. So there's a bit of a pause as things are being, basically the male over there, as things are being a little more organized on his part, making decisions, moving direction. But he knows he's still moving towards her because he has that rose. And she is patiently, if you see her face, there it is. See her face, it's, what just happened? See, her face is very, very patient. So even though she's feeling very, very wonderful, a very beautiful feeling, very creative feeling inside, and she's ready to just embrace him, she's being very patient. And that energy is very, very important right now. So I hope that makes sense to some of you. Again, that message is not for everybody. It's a general read, and it's a general read for collective. This is for the full moon. But I want to touch base on this energy because it's really important, and I think it's really important to understand what a beautiful energy it is. So with her, now we have the magnifying glass. So this magnifying glass, okay. So the magnifying glass really talks about, almost like the hangman energy part of, looking at things from a different perspective, making sure kind of like what you're getting into. And this is, again, coming from past energy. So basically, we had this wonderful transformation and this wonderful awakening. And now we're stepping into a lot of things. So you can see, this is the clouds card. So you can see the darkness is here on the left. That's moving away in the past. So yes, we know that. I probably don't need to say that. It's probably been said a million times now on YouTube, all the tarot readers. But yes, understand, we are moving out of this, and we are being courageous, and we are being confident. We are actually seeing we're moving out of that now. And you can see the birds flying, the sun's coming out, and it's opening up the way. And we do have the sun card come out, which I'll talk about that later in a minute. But yes, so we have the sun, we're getting hopeful feeling, we're getting that renewal, we're getting that confidence. So the magnifying glass is a really, to me, it's a good card, but it's also a card of just, look before you leap, right? And we have this card of 4-4 because the energy right now, and also because of Capricorn, the energies now are very solid. We have a lot of stable energies that are forming at the moment. They're not all here for some of us, but they are forming. And as they are forming, we want to make sure that we're having the right foundation being formed for us, right? So 4 is also the number of house and family, right? Foundation. And then we have that 4 here. So 4 is going to be a very significant number for a lot of us. And 4, I've been seeing so many 4s in the last couple of months. It's crazy actually. I was going to say it's not crazy, but it is crazy. Um, so again, so a bit of that, kind of caution in a way, like just slow yourself down. And there is that energy too. What is nice about this, because it's a lunar eclipse, is that, and here's the other thing, even though she may be looking hot and heavy for him, and he's a little relaxed over there, he's just, taking a moment, almost like Pentacle energy, like let's say the Knight of Pentacles. He's moving a little bit slower. He's already being cautious. So the Watcher here, again, it's not going to resonate with everybody. Even though she's kind of ready to pounce on him, there's still this energy of of just being patient. Because if she kind of moves too fast, she might, kind of, I don't really want to say scare him away, but she might kind of like create him to go backwards, to go inwards, and to retreat. There, that's a good word. She might create him to go retreat. I mean, he's coming, but the thing is, she allows this person to go through his process, his or her process. Then it's going to be, when they meet up, they'll be equally, when these two cards come together in the middle, they'll be equally ready for whatever that union is meant to be. And it's going to be a very powerful union. It definitely has a purpose, and it's very purposeful. And I love the balancing. But what I do also like is kind of the uniqueness in the opposition of representation of the male and female. Like usually it's the guy that's ready to pounce. Okay, I might be wrong. I don't know. But usually my day, I'm a little bit, past 50 here. But anyways, usually my day, it's the guy that's ready to pound, and the woman is the one that's subdued. But I kind of really like this, because right now we are seeing a lot of feminine power, a lot of feminine empowerment coming out. And she does represent a divine feminine, because she, no matter what, she is confident. Now, this is what you have come into. You came out of this dark night of the soul here, coming in, you know who you are. Again, it's all this self-empowerment I talked about in the beginning. Now we have the present. We have this beautiful present. We have the sun here, the sun at the top. So that's from the higher energies. And this is so beautiful. And again, we have 3 and a 1, which is a 4. And then we have this 11 card. This is the whip. I want to talk about this. This is really important. Okay. And then this is the bridge. Okay, so wow. What a power, sorry about that. What a powerful combination right now. And this is just representing what we are seeing, what we're stepping into at the moment, present moment on time here, manifested on earth. So we have the sun. Again, self-empowerment. We are stepping into who we are. Yes, it does have Leo energy. But because this is such a collective reading, universal energies, well, there's that Leo energy, that beautiful Leo, the line energy when we talk about courageous, self-empowerment, know who you are. There's no question. Now, that's not to say, okay, things don't come up. Always things come up. However, you're going to know how to deal with it, whether you've dealt with it before or not, because you just know who you are. Now, what I like about this whip, okay, so usually I forget the exact name, broom whip. In this deck, I forget the exact name of this card, but anyways, the broom whip, basically it's a whip. So it can talk about, it can talk about, people putting the whip on us and all that. But what I'm getting here, it's almost like this sun energy whipping us into, whipping us, like getting it together. Right? So it's like the sun energy. It's like Spirit is saying, yes, I got you. You're on the right path. You're doing great work. Keep it up. But sometimes when we get with the sun card, it can also talk about, being a little cautious of getting cocky. And that's where this magnifying glass comes in. Sometimes we can oh yeah, I know what this is. I've done this before, but In some aspects, we don't quite know what everything is this time, because remember, it may look familiar, but it's new energy. It is something new. So it might not necessarily be familiar. And then the other thing is, you know, it may look familiar, but it might not be. You might be done with that energy. But even though it feels good, you might have a tendency to kind of get back into that energy. And Spirit is saying, no, 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 no. Stay on your path, right? Ock, the dog, he's about staying on his true path, knowing his true path. Sometimes he has to switch masters, right, if it's necessary. But it's staying on that true path. So there is that kind of like, that kind of, you know, lesson coming through with the sun. So yes, you are in the right path. You're feeling confident. Don't question that. Okay. Now, these are attributes that are coming from your heart. And that was one thing I wanted to mention. As long as it's coming from your heart, then that's good. Where we want to be careful, and where the magnifying glass comes in, is that if certain things, especially in things that we're passionate about, because Venus is in Gemini, if it's coming from more of a mental thing, like, oh, if you're finding yourself saying, oh, I should, oh, I could do this, oh, I should do this, especially that I should, then it's asking you, oh, take a double take. Don't watch what you commit to, and take your time. This is not a time to rush into things. Even though it's exciting, it's not a time to rush into him. See, she's watching him, right? And it's kind of a good thing in this case. Again, it doesn't have to be male or female, just energy. But she's watching him. And the thing is, his nice, calm, collective energy, grounded is going to be a key word. She's watching him. So this nice, calm, collected, grounded energy is actually helping her to continue to be patient. Because she's really admiring him for this. He's like, he could be somebody that's something that's totally new. Like, I've never seen such a man so calm and so peaceful, but yet looks so strong and so confident, but yet he's so patient, right? And that, to me, that's like a Virgo energy. But mind you, that could be any sign. But if we just take, you know, a sign that kind of really represents those type of energies, that would be a sign I would call to. But most importantly, that's exactly the energy we want to hone into. So, and her being wise, she knows, she's very intuitive. Or she's like the Empress and the High Priestess kind of put together. So she's very intuitive. This is very intuitive energy, because she's very connected with her creative energy. So that is what's really important here, is that he is actually helping her to stay calm, stay patient. You know, again, that look before you leap. If you're doing any kind of contract or anything, make sure you read between the lines, get a second opinion, all this kind of thing, especially in passion. Take your time getting to know somebody. Don't just jump in, you know, and say, oh, this is my soulmate, it feels so great. You know, then a month later is like, oh my gosh, she left the toilet seat up. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, that was a bad example, but basically, yeah, take your time is really, really the key. Now, these guys know each other, so they are ready to commit. But if we're talking about new love, really take your time. Really take your time. And that's not just in love, that's all aspects. If it's job, any type of commitment. This reading, the moon, this beautiful full moon Capricorn, right? Capricorn, commitment, long term. Capricorn represents that real long term commitment. They really stay the path, and they pretty much go up and down the same path. So they really stay committed, loyal to that path. So all this new energies is beautiful, and embrace the feeling, embrace the celebration. But before you commit, really be patient. Be patient. And if something kind of just feels good, but you're not too sure if it's right, yeah, hold up that energy, and, you know, take a look, investigate a little bit more into it, especially if it has to do with any kind of contract. So, Yeah, and just really take your time, before making any kind of like strong commitments to anything. Really, really important. Because, well, one good thing, you have the spirit coming in to kind of, whip your butt into place back into place. But it is also an energy, and it goes to, again, what I'm saying, with that energy, like, put this card can represent put your ducks in a row. So it, yeah, kind of, not necessarily you crossing your T's and your I's dotted, but making sure that those T's that are crossed are T's. Not the cross that's going to, in the Lenormand, the cross represents carrying burdens, right? You don't want a cross where it's going to represent something you're going to be committed to carrying more burdens. We just got out of that. We don't want that anymore. You want to take your time and make sure that T, that cross that is crossed is a T, an actual T, not a cross. It's a T for truth, right? So that's what we want. We want that T for truth. And so, that's what that is, making sure that, you're whooping yourself. You have to whoop yourself back into reality here and not get caught up in that, emotional, like the Seven of Cups kind of energy, that emotional high, right? Because it's a high. I'm excited. I have to slow myself down. I mean, I'm always like tripping myself up. So I have to slow myself down. I might put this guy. Yeah, I might put this guy up, on my dresser or something. Put him in a frame and look at him. So I'm like, okay, he's telling me be calm, be patient. I'll do that. And then we have the bridge. So the bridge is kind of like, and this is present moment, and it's interesting because the bridge, this is higher, this is the middle, and then this is lower. And what I love about the bridge, it's this, we have on a really sub-creative, where things kind of, like the atomic level kind of energy, we have, crossed the bridge from this energy, right? If you want to say all that toxic energy and all that narcissistic energy and putting in that all these kind of lessons, putting that behind us and crossing the bridge over here to the well. And so we'll get into this. Now this is beautiful. This is moving into the future, and you have that bridge going from, like, sure, we still have to be cautious. That energy is still here, but it's not as bad as we stepped out. Like, have to, this is in the past with the dark clouds over here. This is more like paranoia energy. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta really, like, like clamping up the heart, really scrutinizing everybody. Almost like CSI stuff, investigative stuff. Like, overboard. But now we're crossing into a healthy, where it's like, okay, I don't really need to trust those guys because I can trust me. And I know if something's not right, I know to cut it, right? Because you got this intuition. You know who you are, so you know what your boundaries are. So you don't have to scrutinize everything. But if I'm going to make a commitment to something, I will take a look, of all the details and the fine print. Coming into the future, this is the energy from coming, after this new moon energy, lunar eclipse, the moon is in the eclipse, the sun is shining through, and this is beautiful, and this is what it's bringing us. So we have the star card, hope and healing, and we have the anchor. Again, even though there it is, there's your 8. 8 is a double 4. Anchor, the anchor is the most stable card. It's almost more stable than the home, because it's basically, we put our anchor anywhere we're at. If I'm sailing overseas and I'm over here at this country, I'm going to put my anchor down and I'm going to create, my home there for a bit, be stable, and have that stability and security where I'm at. I know my ship's not going to sail away on me when I go onto shore to celebrate or shopping or something. Meet my twin flame across the seas. I might have to go across the seas to meet my twin flame or soulmate. That's where I think mine is. But anyways, when I go across the seas and I end up on the other side of the ocean, I can put my anchor down. So it's a stable card. It's the most stable and security card there is. So such a powerful card. And with the sun coming out, man, this full moon is bringing us a lot of good energies. One of the things with the well to me is abundance, right? But it also, again, it also does talk about we might have to dig deeper before, again, making like those really important, strong commitments in anything. Love, career, moving. We really want, again, it's about digging deeper. If you're in a relationship moving forward and it's growing, maybe it's growing, but, you know, maybe like this guy, maybe a little too slow. And you're like, well, maybe it's time to kind of move up the relationship. You know, what's going on. Maybe there's something really deep in the well, deep down, that's going on that we may need to investigate. And we may need to heal. We may need to help. There might be this energy for some of you, right? Because she's High Priestess Empress, all about healing, right? And she uses her intuition more for the call of healing more than just herself, right? Because she is pretty, I mean, she does love her luxuries and she does love, you know, the things that bring her joy. But she's also a selfless person. Selfless. She's very selfless. So she would use her intuition more for healing. So there may be a call for some of you out there. This message just came through that some of you may be called to do some healing. There's all kinds of healing things out there. Tarot can be one of them. Massage therapy. Some people do Reiki. Music. Healing with music. Healing with animals or horses. There's all kinds of ways to heal out there. Actual being a health practitioner. Holistic also. All kinds of ways. So some of you may be called to heal. So this man, maybe he's being overcautious like we talk about. He might be over here a little stuck in the past. A little overcaution because he still is coming out of a heartbreak. He's ready to move forward. He's just not ready to take the action yet. And he might need an assistance. Again, it's not male or female, but it's that energy. The energy of being stuck. Now, if it's a male energy being stuck, that's mostly coming from something that's coming from the mind. Now, that doesn't mean the root came from the heart, but maybe his heart kind of healed already. But maybe he's got some mental anguish and like that Nine of Swords energy, and that's tough. And that would be where he's a little stuck. So he could be literally, his heart could be healed. He could be heart ready, but he's not mentally ready. And so this is where you may be called, again, feminine energy is that is a lot, healing energy. Now, men are great healers. Men and women, doesn't matter, are both perfect healers, equal healers. But a lot of that healing energy comes from a feminine energy of nurturing, caring, understanding, listening. And so this person here who has this kind of masculine energy going on, they may need that. So that could be something, and that's why she's being very patient. She's looking at the window. So she could be looking maybe even at answers. So that's a message for some of you who are experiencing that, if this is a romantic person or somebody that's very important in your life. And that's, so the well that card also kind of calls for that. Now on that note, for some of you as well, same thing. If something's not moving forward in your life, you wonder, why is this moving slow? So a masculine energy could be a job, could be a career, okay? That's masculine energy, that kind of work. Motherly is more feminine energy. Even if it's the guy staying at home taking care of the children, that's still a nurturing feminine energy. But if you're finding, well, okay, your love life may be great, but for some of you, you're finding like other aspects of your life are moving slow. Like if it's a career or a job, like how come my career is not working? I know it's working, but how come it's not working fast enough is what I wanted to say. I didn't get to finish my sentence there. And that's because there's this healing. Still this healing again. Again, you have to tap in to your feminine energies. Don't you love the way I'm bossy? I just get so bossy. I'm so excited. You have to do that, okay? Anyways, but no. Importantly, though, that's what the well could be calling for you to do also. Then this is a message for some of you, not all of you. But some of you, if you're finding you're a little bit in that stuck position, you have that rose to give somebody because you have beautiful gifts. You all have beautiful gifts. Now, that's one thing I'm going to say across the board. You all have beautiful gifts. You all have something healing. But sometimes the call to action is healing within ourselves. And that's where off the dog comes back out with where does your loyalties lie. Now, this card is a star card. So you got hope, you got backup, and you're healing. And sometimes, yeah, we might need to, whip ourselves, we might need to whip this guy. Okay, this is where the 18 plus comes in, y'all. The feminine, she may come in, she may need to come in and whip this guy. Come on. Okay, not literally, right? Okay, that I leave for you and your imagination. But metaphorically speaking, yeah, sometimes we do need a little boost or, a little boot in the butt, and sometimes if we're talking about our own healing still needing to be done, because this card is calling for that. Now, for some of you, it is helping somebody else. For some of us, before we can help somebody else, we still have, or be with somebody, be with who we want, or, have that career we want. We're being called to a little bit more emotional healing, a little bit more investigating within ourselves, digging deeper, and you can see that beautiful sun. I'm going to say it's sunrise. Could be sunrise, sunset, but I'm going to say sunrise. It does look like a sunrise to me. And we got a 5 energy. So this is the Christ energy. This is you coming into your self-empowerment. And this is so that we need to stop running away from our emotions. Now, one thing I wanted to say about this card, very powerful. Well, we know it's a 7, but it's created by a 3 and a 4. So 3 is that number of creation. There it is, that creative energy. Okay, so like when the sperm, when it fertilizes the egg, it's got to really penetrate that egg, like penetrate, right? Let's say really penetrate the egg. There's my 18 plus right there. So the sperm is penetrating the egg, and then once it gets in there, then you get this little baby, right? So we get this little baby as a creation. That's the true power of the Trinity, right? The male energy, female energy, and then you got creation. And that's the number of 3. That's the power of 3. And 4 is stability. So 4 is that stability. So that represents family. So now with the 3 of us, mother, father, and child, now we created something even greater. The sum of the many far outweigh the sum of its equal parts. So when a male and a female come together, instead of separate, they really become powerful. They have the power of creation. And if we're talking physical, it's creation of a child. If we're talking a little more spiritual, a little more energetic, a little more metaphorical, then it's a creation of a new birth of energies. So it could be like, that new business or that new project. So very powerful energy. So what I wanted to say, so that's a 3 and a 4 and that's 7. That's a complete self. So complete self is having like all the tools together, right, to create and to finish, building that building. So what I want to say about this card, so this sigil represents running away. So the last step. So the 7 is referring to the last step for you to move from a 7 into the 8 to actually manifest that building, that I keep wanting to say institution, but kind of the right word, kind of not, depending if you don't take it the right way, but basically building that structure, which is you. Okay, so getting this 7 chakras in a line, so 7 chakras in a line. We hear about the 7 years, 7 colors of the rainbow, a lot about 7s. So that is basically having a complete tool belt, basically. Now, so this sigil talks about running away from your emotions. So one of the things I wanted to say about this card, one of the last lessons for healing if we're referring to yourself or helping somebody else. It's about letting people know that all these ideas of, like the word drama, drama queen, drama king, all that is basically, these are all healthy titles. Now, I'm not one to say, oh, watch what you say, but I am to, don't judge, right? Judge, here I'm getting bossy again. Don't judge! Well, let's put it this way. It's going to help if we don't judge, even ourselves. More importantly, judge, because judgment comes from ourselves first. So when we don't judge ourselves, we can allow that healing. So, most important thing is that, if you need to express yourself, express yourself. Don't hold back. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, you're overreacting. No, you're not. I mean, maybe it's coming out, but the thing is, you may need to let that out. Like, yes, don't go and, punch somebody, in the face. Because they pushed your buttons, that kind of thing. Be rational. But the thing is, you have to express it. You have to express it. But what you're going to know is that's also part of learning who you are. It's also part of learning, how to express yourself, right? If we always been suppressed with, oh, don't express your emotions. You can't say that. You can't, Well, if we don't ever do that, then we'll never learn that aspects of ourselves. That throat chakra will be all jacked up. So it's really important that that's an aspect of learning of who you are, an aspect of again, recognizing where those boundaries are. And so this is the healing that needs to be done. So definitely, even if if possible, maybe don't cuss somebody out, but definitely say, hey, I don't like it. And this is the other thing. Say you don't like it because if it doesn't resonate. It doesn't have to get to a point where, it's really bad. Like, this is the thing, when I hear about these narcissistic relationships and stuff, yes, that's terrible. And yes, totally get out of that. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, don't even wait till a relationship gets to that point, right? This is what this magnifying glass, because now it's long term. So what may be something like, oh, yeah, well, I really don't like that, but, I can deal with it. And that's kind of like settling. So I'll settle with that. No, absolutely not. You want to say no. Because in the beginning, you might not see the harm. But because we're talking long time now, long term, over time, that will become damaging. And we're done with that energy of settling for things, of dealing with things. We're done. We just need to now, in order for us to continue to grow and continue growing to our higher energies, we want to step into, now it's got to completely resonate with me. I'm not going to accept it, right? So that's why the magnifying glass is important, because, these energies can be a little bit tricky. Okay, I'm getting into an hour here, so thank you if you're still with me. So these are going to be quick because it more refers to what's going on. So some of the energies that are coming in that are just more like clarifying energies is we have, yes, passion. Okay, so yes, okay, we talked a lot about that in the beginning. So there is a lot of passion. So use it wisely. Make sure it's what you love. You might have to dig a little deeper and say, well, okay, I'm attracted to this. If it's a passion of, like a career or doing something, a project, I'm attracted to this, but maybe you might want to find out why, because, there might be different elements to that, right? So very important, a lot of passion and energy, and be aware. You're going to feel high. Be aware it's because it's passionate. So you don't want to get too excited. You don't want to get caught up in the excitement too much, because the higher we go, then there's always going to be a deeper fall, right? Fall into the well. And then, yes, so grounding energy, very, very important. Very important to have this grounding energy, right? And that's what we talked a bit about. Our young man over there with the rose. So nice. I can hardly wait for my rose to come in. And then we do have this autumn, right? The Witch Tower of the West. So West talks about, you know, a colder place. But, you know, and then autumn bringing the colder show. But what basically is we're coming out. We came out of this. And this is kind of also, I'm getting not just, you know, oh, the actual season, but also we're coming out of our own autumn. The sun is coming out. The sun is coming out. And I think we want to recognize that so we can embrace it, right? You know, if we say, oh yeah, the sun is out, right? The sun's out. That's okay. That's nice. But, you know, and then we just carry on. But we actually want to embrace, maybe there's some hidden things within the sun that, you know, until we actually embrace the energy, we won't see. So that's important. Okay, and then we have Litha, which is, yeah. So intensification. And what I want to say about this intensification is this is what's happening here, intensifying. And that's the tower. Yep, coming out of the autumn into the summer hotness. Woo-wee! That fury. What does it say? It says fire. I say fury. Yes. So intensification. So yes, this intensification is really happening. And energies are really intensifying. So the reason why that message keeps coming up, because I don't know why, and I know I'm getting repetitive, but it's important to understand that, because we want to separate you know, emotional content sometimes from mental interpretations of that emotional content. So again, because we may be really passionate, and if we don't slow down to look at, okay, what's really going on here? It's looking good on the outside, but let's take it, you know, let's peel the layers back a little bit. So there really is a strong energy because it's so intense, and the energy is intense. And then we just have a balancing of this spring. So to me, this is all about this birth, new renewal. Again, looking at her, you know, getting all hot and heavy over him, looking at him over there. You know, if you don't mind a child, hey, that's okay. Be careful what you wish for, though. You want that soulmate twin flame to come in, or, you know, when he comes in, you might not be able to control yourself. It's too intense, the fury over here, you know. And so yeah, unless you want that child, you just slow yourself down a little bit. Whew, wipe the sweat off. And you know, make sure you have proper precaution. And then we have the incubation. So again, so a lot of new birth energy, a lot of like this pregnancy type of energy coming in. Now for a lot of us, the incubation is referring to yes, so we really do want to have that, you know, continuation of, you know, checking in with ourselves and making sure that we are meeting our needs, and, you know, kind of being loyal to our own boundaries. But there is a beautiful message coming for a lot of you from me that I'm receiving here, and that is, if you have been waiting for, let's say, this career opportunity or this project to go through, or something you've been working on to just go through, Spirit is coming through with this beautiful, beautiful energy, the incubation energy here of you. It hasn't birthed yet, but it's still in the growing phase, right? So it's still growing, and it's coming. And it's coming because you have done the work. So Spirit is saying you have done the work. Now, what I'd like to do, I was going to clarify. If you want to bear with me, I'm going to just do one of these Let Go cards. I love these Let Go cards. So adding to this, you know, so basically let go. If I were to say let go from the sigil there, that says running away from your emotions. So you want to start looking, taking a magnifying glass, looking at your emotions. If there's something coming up that's not, don't push them away. Don't push them down. You know, you want to, sure, maybe a little piece at a time, not all at once. But you want to start at least going there. Okay. So if I had to say let go of something for this, it's basically let go of fear, let go of expectations. Especially if it's like, you know, expectations that we learned from a child that say, oh, you can't be like this, you can't be like that. No, let go of all these expectations. None of them are real, none exist, and probably none of them don't apply to you. So let go of all those, especially anything external expectations. You know, how to behave, how to act. Let go of all expectations, definitions of how, you know, you should be. Nobody can tell you how you should be. Only you know. No, you and, you know, God or the divine or, you know, whoever you see your creator is, you know. So let go of all that. That's a beautiful message coming through because you got something beautiful incubating there. Spirit it's bringing it in. All right. So we have this beautiful card here. Oh, I love her. And there we have that card again. Her looking patiently. And just sitting with the flower. And we have let go of any negativity and walk tall. Decorate yourself with grace and make it your reality. There you go. Make him your reality, or her. Make her, you know, your divine counterpart. And a divine counterpart could be if you already are a couple or you're not looking into romantic, your divine counterpart could be that job, career, or position or project that you have a passion for, that you've been waiting. But let go of the negativity. And that's it, you know. When we have fear to look at something within ourselves is because we have a negative, well, I want to say negative outlook, but actually I'm going to say negative in-look. We have a negative in-look on ourselves. And, you know, we need to let go of this negative in-look on ourselves. And then we can handle looking at that. And if it's hard, sorry about the blurry there. And if it's hard, then it's hard. That's okay. Acceptance. It's okay. It's hard. Then you can take it slow. But don't ignore it. Don't suppress it. You know, if it's ugly, that's okay. If you're angry, that's okay. If you're sad, you need to cry, that's okay. If it feels ugly, that's okay. I've actually just learned, you know, my own depression. I've learned to be at peace. I actually embrace my depression now. Because to me, it's like, hey, that's my just I'm talking depression. I have that at the bottom of the deck. I'm just going to pull through these. But, you know, now like that's my cue, my spiritual cue. Like, you know, when we get physically tired, you know, when we get physically tired, that's your cue to, oh, I need to go rest. Well, when I get depressed, that's like, oh, that's my spiritual cue saying, oh, I need to go and meditate, you know, like not necessarily meditate. To me, everything's meditation, but I need to go and just spend some time with myself and be at one and happy with myself. And that's really cool. Oh, I didn't talk about these three cards up here, but we have the house and we have the book. So mysteries are unfolding. This is deep knowledge. So again, these couple, deep knowledge is going to unfold as this union comes together. Now this union can be, depending on who you are in your situation, a union can actually be a divine soulmate or twin flame, however you see that. But when you come together, all this understanding is going to happen. For some of you, it is going to be your career. And for others of you, it's going to be healing, you know, healing things with either family or friends or somebody that is significant in your life, or, you know, or a union, like coming into partnership for some of you, signing the right contract for projects. So really significant, really, and it's going to be very important. It's very powerful. And then we have the Page of Wands. Okay. So yes, So, Page of Wands, yes, he's definitely, the pages are definitely, yes, they're messengers, but they're also those who study. They study, and Wands is passion, spirit. So, to understand yourself, yes, it may help to go back to ancestors before really deciding what you're going to commit to, what you're passionate about, and committing to the right passion. So really about looking at, see, and actually, it's interesting, he's really looking at I think the top of the wand there. Let me just see if I can get into focus. There it is. He's really looking at the top of the wand there, so the new growth. So he's investigating that new growth. I just noticed that. I never noticed that with that card. But Spirit will always show me something different with the cards. So I don't always just read what the cards mean. I also read, what... I also read what Spirit shows me. And wow, because the sun's coming out. Now, in one way, you can't go wrong. We have two suns here. In another way... yeah, and energy is fast. That's just at the bottom of the deck. Energy is fast. But in another way, you want to make the decision what's right for you. So you have to make sure it's the right thing for you. Because, and this is in the position of the path, the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, because the wheel is turning, and I just showed the bottom of the deck, and it's moving fast. So I think that's one of the reasons why Spirit is really having you have, yes, energy is fast. We can't stop that. We can't control the energies around us. However, we can control our moving forward. So he looks like he's getting ready to step here. Let me make sure it's clear. Yeah, he looks like he's getting ready to step here, but he's just about to lift that foot, but he's just eyeballing the top of that wand first, checking it out, making sure it's leading him in the right direction. Because Wands, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, all that, is about going after what you want, what you're passionate about. And Spirit is saying absolutely, and we are backing you up 100%. Go after what you want, what you're passionate about. Just make sure that, be careful what you wish for. Make sure that you're, if this is what you want, that you're also willing. There's going to be other things that are going to come with it, kind of thing. A quick example could be, if you want that twin flame soulmate, but he has children, are you okay with, whatever, he or she has, their relationship with that children and that responsibility? Are you willing, so that kind of example. So be prepared that, it's exactly, what you want, what you're passionate for, and it's something what you want in your life to continue to grow, because the growth has already started and you want it to flourish, and it's going to flourish. So whatever you choose, make sure it comes straight from the heart, because everybody, stepping into a lot of manifestation here, and you are a manifestor creative, very creative energy. So I hope that message helped. We're over like an hour here, and full moon energies, y'all. Really enjoys it, really embrace it. Again, just follow your heart, your intuition. You are bang on. Some of you are actually being called for healing, and or tarot, but it's that kind of esoteric energy. Some of you are being called towards too, but you're gonna know. You're gonna be naturally drawn to those who. But in one way, we are all healers, and I think working together and coming together is very, very empowering ourselves, so that we can also empower others is very important. But make sure it's all about you having that center, being sturdy within yourself. They say the rope in the rope, holding the bucket in the center is all about centering yourself, right? So here, the basket here being centered, before like going into the water, which represents emotional content. So staying centered, grounded, and And hey, bring it on. Bring it on, baby. You're ready. You're ready. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Lots of love and light and healing to you. And so I'll see you next message. Aloha, keika'i, keika'i. Love one another. And hopefully I'll be getting the love messages out soon. Okay. Take care. Aloha. Bye-bye.